Hi, it's Cryptomaria, and also for once, I'm actually live when I'm supposed to be live. I'm sorry I jump around, and earlier today, I oh god, I broke the cardinal rule of YouTube and I fell asleep. I've had such bad allergies. I doubled down on antihistamines and I have literally slept all weekend. It is like, I'm just like, wow. Yeah, I did nothing, but I feel better for the most part. Plus, all the snow melted. I'm like a reverse husky. I can feel it coming in, but I want to run away and hide from it. And this is a little different stream than I normally do just because this is like pretty much 2 years to the whole big truckers protest in Canada, which is a real mixed bag for me. I support it, and at the same time, there are issues I have with the movement. So, and I'm going to offend people on every side of this. If you were easily triggered, there are plenty cat videos coming up. I'll find some. I always love the murder kitties. But just to I need to vent because after 2 years in like I should be allowed an opinion. Wasn't that what we were fighting for? So yeah, I might offend some people with this. I don't even know what clips are even gonna still load after 2 years on my blog. But I tried to catalog and save as much as I could. I was like trying to I just didn't have the technology at the time to actually restream people's streams properly. And so people just wrote me off as a loser, which is great, which is fine. Whatever. But 2 years later, it's like I'm still not great with all the technology, but apparently I'm here. Sorry, see, it's a double edged sword. Like, I had people in the freedom movement saying, don't trust this person, they're a grifter, they're a bad person. And then they basically grift me. So it's like, okay, like, apparently you're all idiots. I don't mean it in that way, but you know, I just don't know where the lines are. I have always spoken up for freedom and freedom of speech, and then I kind of went to the dark side of leftism and was like, oh no, you can't say that, you can't do that. And then and I totally support what happened with the freedom movement and the Ottawa protest. It needed to happen, and I will explain why it was important and legal because, well, martial law shouldn't be imposed on Canadian citizens. It is against our charter rights. And so, this is a sometimes it's like you have to make a deal with the devil to get things done. And that's what this feels like sometimes. Like, I don't, even though my family comes from truckers, it's just, I don't, I don't entirely support what happened all the way. But it needed to happen, and it shouldn't have ended up being what it was. Like, Trudeau could have, like, but he is so connected. They're all so connected to all these corporations and all these, like, the World Economic Forum. Like, they're just lining their pockets out of our tax dollars and then telling us we're the bad people who need to go. So I just don't like all the infighting. But this is what's going to happen in any organization. And yeah, 2 years, finally I can feel like I can say anything about it, because, like, so many people are invested in it. I consider friends, and I don't want to offend them, but some of it's just, this isn't effective. Maybe I'm like, and we're going to pull up my blog. So let's see what was going on January 29th, 2022. And I'll scroll back and up, because hopefully some of these clips even work. I don't even know. And if I forgot, I'm Cryptomeria. I'm an artist out of Victoria, British Columbia. Everyone knows me, sorta. And if you're new, please like and subscribe. Whatever. I hate that, but at the same time, it helps the algorithm. Oh boy. Oh, okay, enough with my soapbox. We're gonna go on to what was happening.
Oh, this just gets better and better and better. Yesterday, after the Prime Minister made those very condescending remarks, the small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa,
small fringe,
holding unacceptable.
How about all of Canada hates your ass?
All across social media,
all of Canada wants you gone. You're a global joke. Go.
It is glorious.
Yeah.
From now on, you can just call me unacceptable, just incredible. That's fine. Actually, I wear that badge with pride.
I never thought that I would say this, but we need to take a cue from what is happening in Canada right now.
Australia is taking a cue from us now, and they're going to be doing the same thing. They're going to have a convoy to their capital. Oh, and Sweden now, too. And yesterday, Brazilian truckers took to the roads in solidarity with the Canadian truckers. It is international. It is glorious. Even Elon Musk tweeted out, "Canadian truckers rule." He's right. They do.
Small fringe minority.
Hell yeah.
Small fringe minority.
Unacceptable views.
We'll show you a fringe minority, Trudeau. Just to give you a little more perspective on how huge this really is, the front stretch of the convoy crossed the border into Ontario, while the back stretch of the same convoy was just crossing the border into Manitoba. Oh, and coincidentally, after his remarks yesterday, and the whole country was laughing at him, he coincidentally, was supposedly exposed to Now he has to self-isolate for 5 days. Oh, the timing, the timing. Now he's going to go run away and hide like the coward he is. He's done this before. He likes to run away to his cottage. Actually, today, trending on Twitter, hashtag unacceptable is trending on Twitter, along with hashtag coward of the cottage. Look at this. Here's some more footage from day 5 of, the small.
We'll scroll up and down because, like, oh my god, how can you not? Proud to be Canadian. Hell yeah! I almost want to cry watching this. Like, it just.
Unacceptable.
Oh my god. Some of these, like, I'm surprised they're still loading, and YouTube's actually kept them up. But yeah, we got the little COVID warnings because we need that. And I'll see what else is up.
Back at it Sunday morning. Freedom Convoy, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Convoy is on the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway, all the way up to about Island Park Drive. Woo! So they're trying to get all the truckers off the city streets and get them on the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway. That's what I overheard. I could be wrong. Things change. Prior to the live stream, I spoke to a few truckers. They're a little eerie because a few bad apples were coming around, smashing the windows late last night. So, yeah, no. Ottawa, let's not do that. Looks like there's paid actors that are coming in. They're just lining them up a little bit more neater so they can make more room for everybody. Yeah, this convoy, like a lot of people are saying that to what the police have to say. The police tell them something, they do it. They're all on the same page. You know? I don't know, man. A lot of people like to twist the story around, I think. Hi, guys. Hi from Italy. Hello. Hello. Hello, France. Toronto police. There's Toronto police, London police. They're all around. So I'm not really in the downtown part yet, but I'm gonna get there. It's really cold. My phone might die. Warning. It probably will. Even though I had it with a hot paw all morning and it's fully charged. Trying to walk as fast. If I had a scooter or a bike, but biking in these temperatures is really hard. The Godfather, just a beautiful show. Hello, Northern Ireland. How are you?
This is incredible.
Hi, everyone.
Like,
How much
just,
diesel in my area?
I was up,
I don't think it's an issue. These
like,
guys brought their own. They brought their
trying
own
to
toilets.
restream all
Brought their
of
own
these
food.
streams, 19 hours a day sometimes during this.
Yeah, people come prepared
And
when
then
you
we
go
had
out to do
martial
something.
law.
I mean, there's a select few that did leave late
And
last
that's
night or early
why
morning,
I
but
still
as
am
far
like
as
a
I
little pitbull on
know, it was
this.
just
And
because the
it,
city was gridlocked.
you
Across
know,
the river here in Gatineau was
despite
gridlocked. Coming
I
into
have
the
no
bridges, they had closed them
association with
down.
anyone, like, they don't like me.
But as far as
I
what
was
I'm seeing
always
this
an
morning, drivers
outsider,
are
so
coming
it
out
doesn't
doing their circle
matter.
checks, even though they're
But
parked.
I still support them.
And, they're doing their thing, due diligence. Salut! Salut de France! Comment ça va? Je parle français aussi. Je suis franco-ontarien. Et très fier d'être franco-ontarien. Bonjour! Salut, ça va ce matin? Il fait froid là-bas aussi? Oh, soutien, merci beaucoup.
It was
Well, 2,000 truck shorts. I don't
this
know,
is
man. There's
it's
Elgin
incredible.
Street,
Like,
that's packed. There's
Canada
10th Street,
is
that
such
was
a
packed.
huge country,
There's
and
King
to
Edward,
have a
that's packed.
convoy
Rideau, that's blocked.
go all the way
Wellington, that's
across.
blocked.
And I will get
I don't
into
know.
why this protest is important
Oh, il fait frais.
and
Oui, oui.
very different than what's going on with
Les
the
bâtis veulent
trans
pas rester
movement or Gaza,
chargés. Puis
because those ones are the
smash the
same,
like button. Hammer
in
down,
my
man.
opinion.
Hammer down in the hammer lane.
This was different.
Donate if you can.
And I really,
It
like,
makes
I've
these,
gotten into
live
it on
streams
X. I'm
possible.
streaming on X right now, and I
If you don't
really
wanna
want to
donate, don't donate.
clarify
That's
it
cool.
for some of these kids,
Smash the like button instead.
because a lot of them are just paid
How long is the
protesters,
protest? I'm
dumb
not
kids.
sure.
They'll go on to the
To
next
tell you,
thing.
I will not be coming
tomorrow.
tomorrow. I work.
This was different.
But if they're still here Thursday, I'll swing by. Or Wednesday evening.
But those are the type of people who like eating crickets
But
and think
hopefully they
kids
stay
should
for a while till
have all
mandates
their
change.
junk cut off just because they feel different.
That's just my personal opinion. I have the right to have that opinion. Thank
Yeah,
you.
exactly. Well, we are
Like
losing
everybody
our
else in this world.
personal opinions. We are. We are
Y'all have your own
absolutely
opinion.
losing
I am
freedom of
fully
speech in
vaccinated. Thank you.
Canada. And this was like, better or worse, one of the biggest moments in my life.
Yeah, I gotta pay bills, so
it's like right up there with graduation
some
from
of these
university.
guys are gonna stay
And
their own
actually, I
operators.
felt
Yeah, you
better
don't see
about
Walmart
myself
here. You don't
supporting
see our
this
corporations
and
here.
how my family treated me during
They would never
graduation.
dare.
Because
And then,
I
you know,
wasn't a
something to
doctor.
say about
I
a
was
lot of
just an
Ottawa companies. I
artist.
don't see you guys out here,
I might as well have been dead.
and that's not
Yeah,
good.
hey,
You guys gotta
whatever. It
support
is what
each
it
your own,
is.
you know. No, I've had 2 shots, and I think that's as far as I'm going.
Yeah, that's as far as anyone should go.
I don't think I'm gonna get the 3rd one at this point.
No, we did what
really
we were told
as it
to.
should, I believe. That's my
And
personal
I
opinion.
saw someone today who had 6. It's like, okay, lab rat,
If I'm
have
forced,
fun. You do you, I'll do me.
into
I
coercion
did
or
the
whatever,
2
if
just
I have
so
to take the
I could get across the
3rd
border.
one because of mandates,
And that's not
I have to keep a roof
fair.
over my head. I have
That
a
is
child coming,
against
so no
the
matter what, I'll have to
Canadian
do it there. But
Charter
you know, it is what it
on
is. You
bodily
go day by day.
autonomy, and this is why the
That's
truckers
that's all
stood
we can
up,
do.
because the government cannot mandate private citizens back to work.
About 9:30 in the morning, I
And
believe.
the
Lost
RCMP.
track of time already.
Okay, I gotta
Came
pause
out, it
this.
was
I
7
gotta
o'clock.
pause this to explain this,
I got my hot pause
because
today,
I
so
know
I'm staying warm.
there's people who are not familiar with Canadian history or law, but the RCMP were brought in, invented to be strike breakers on the railway. They weren't actually there to protect you. They were there to break up strikes on the railway. Now, this is actual history. I got 80% on this exam, so I'm not saying you can trust me. I would say don't trust anyone you see online, but you know, if you aren't familiar with Canadian history, and I don't think a lot of Canadians do, the RCMP were put in place to break up strikes on the railway. And here's the difference. Not just 100 years plus, but truckers are private business owners. They are private citizens. You cannot like crack a whip and expect people to, you know, march at your orders. Like, I'm sorry. Like, no, that's not how democracy works, or the like what we assumed democracy was. Unfortunately, I call it the St. Valentine's Day Massacre 2.0. We had the Canadian government impose martial law on us. Martial law, like basically we are in a military state because of this protest. Meanwhile, I can go through the records of some of these politicians who got rich off of this pandemic. And you cannot force private citizens to do their job if they don't want to. Like, no, like, we disagree, we're not going to work. And if you don't let us transport goods across the border, well, I guess your country's fucked. You know, there goes the economy. But they wanted to control people so badly. And Trudeau he's not well. I mean, I'm not the sanest person on the world, but I'm not in charge of running Canada. And he is just not well. It is like, I mean, it's like worse than Biden falling down at a graduation ceremony. It's worse. It is so much worse. Oh god, I'm gonna get a strike so much for talking about all this. Hey, welcome to Canada. China. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah. Sorry, it's just that moment of relief. No one's texting me. It's just YouTube. Sometimes I just don't. It's just too much lately. A friend died, and it just. I need to step away from the family because they'll just think I'm a gold digger. And even though this is going to go through like 2 years of probate, it's like, it's going to go bad. He didn't have a will, and you know all the stereotypes of a younger woman who is friends with an older man. Yeah, it's going to go bad. Like, Owen, I love you, but I cannot. And BJ, his older brother, who's 82, it's gonna hurt him to tell him. He doesn't understand YouTube, so, or, a lot of this streaming I do. So it's just stressful. Like, I want to help the family, but it's just when you have a death in the family, things get weird. Sometimes you have to step away, and it hurts. But we're going to go back to, sorry for my rant. I'm trying to process everything I went through because I feel written off. Even though, like, I tried to save as much in my blog as I could of everything that went on. And I all I feel is people want more. And no one's supporting me when I go through things. And after 2 years, it's just like, I want to support you, but you do you, I'll do me. We'll do freedom our own ways. At least we came together on this moment, but at the same time, do not ask me for things out of my realm and then guilt trip me into, oh, you're not giving me enough money, so I can do something. I can go to this protest. It's like, fuck off. Like, I've said that with other protests recently, and this one is a big one. But it was 2 years ago. And a lot of us have moved on. Like, real freedom is actually having a life and enjoying it. And I will, like, you can go through. I'm always pulling up civil liberties, but civil liberties is my focus. Oh, I gotta stick to my lane, and I feel it unfair sometimes that I am expected to go above and beyond my means when I'm also working a full-time job most of the time and dealing with just life. Like, This is your passion. But my passions are like AI art, just being happy, working out, like being healthy, like, you know, getting dragged into all this politics. Yes, it's important to me, but I'm doing it on my own terms. And when I had people in the movement saying, I am doing this wrong, that's where I cut the line. Because I am me. I am paying, like, they aren't paying for me. No one from the freedom movement has ever given me any money for supporting them or protesting or anything. I'm supposed to give them money like a cult. Sometimes I feel like. And if people are watching, I don't want you to take that the wrong way, but it does. It's like, you aren't supporting me, but I'm supposed to support everyone else. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yesterday I had way too many layers.
Like, what happened with this protest, I support, but 2 years later, it's like, why aren't you
Hey,
supporting me?
Netherlands, how
You
you
were
doing?
never my friend. And yes, you did this, but at the same time, it doesn't go both ways, apparently.
Oops. I gotta give it to DJI Osmos for the gimbal. That's what I use. The gimbal's a champ in this weather. The battery works really well. I was far away from the no-fly zone this morning, early this morning. I took some shots on the parkway. You know, I don't know about the rumors about the agitators, but there's always one person in the whole entire area. It doesn't matter if it's a city, if it's a town, if it's a building, there's country. There's going to be agitators. There's going to be people that don't agree and think that, vandalism is the way out. It's not. Or violence is the way out or in. It's not. So, and again, this has nothing to do with race. I've seen a lot of races involved. I've seen people from different ethnics all involved. And there will be, a few bad apples there. Like I said, what I don't get is, the poor kids' freedom. Kids want to go to school, learn, have a good future, and he pretty much strips that from them. Not just Trudeau, but the Quebec Premier there. Holy boy, you gotta show vaccine papers to go into Walmart. Excuse me? No, that's not how it works. My buddy, his wife gave birth. He can only leave once a day. What is that? I would not be. I have ADHD. I can't sit for very long. They would have to accommodate me. I have to go. I have to leave. I have to walk. It's not my fault. I gotta go. I'm always moving. So it doesn't make any sense. Any sense. I'm about to get hit by a car. For a little bit there, they shut this road down. There's nothing. I'm gonna try and go through it as fast as possible. City workers hang out. pretty crazy because I filmed half of them do snow removal. Only doing one live stream today, and then I'll make a video at the end of the day. One of my buddies sent me drone footage. I think it's someone else's though, so it could get copyrighted. I don't want that. I've already seen some of my footage on YouTube. People stealing others' footage. I was approached by, people, news media outlets, and
Of course, you get the warnings,
we'll do
like
this, we'll
every
do
other
that.
second about.
One guy called. I don't even know how they get my number because my personal number is not even advertised, right? And all of a sudden, this guy calls.
Oh, they know.
I
They
don't
know
I
how
was
to
just a little
find
sketchy
you.
about it. I gave him my name and stuff, but
They know how to find
okay.
you. Don't worry about it.
We're not
They'll
doing
find
any
you.
of that. It seems too good to be true, and I don't want to get scammed into something
Yeah.
that, then I get screwed over. I'm just trying to cover this because it could be a historic event. Who knows?
That is utterly the most Canadian response.
Well,
like, well, this
I'm
could
from
be
the
big,
Upper
but
Canyon
we're
area.
not
I didn't
really
walk all the way
sure.
downtown, but I could have.
Could be. I don't know. We got a lot of
no, I
trucks,
took the
but
train and
I
then I
don't
walked. I went and got some footage
and
of the
I
convoy.
got some Timmies and
on the parkway there. It's pretty long there too. They slept there and. Well, I don't really talk about him. Yeah. He is a puppet. Oh, someone got stopped here.
wow. I remember seeing this live, but it's so different seeing it like.
Almost there, guys. Almost there.
You know.
I'm not too sure why they.
It just there was a lot of people who
don't let them park here.
Oh,
some of the traffic downtown, but the city of Ottawa has their own ideas of things sometimes.
There has to be a better way to protest the government.
Oh, yeah, there's still a few here.
Maybe
They're
getting
coming
inside.
up in front there. They're bundled up
Change
like
it from
this
the
in
inside.
very cold weather. You don't really want to sweat. You already sweat from walking.
Look at Argentina. I almost want to replay his speech because
you gotta check some of my footage I'm gonna post later on today.
Oh my goodness, that man
Normally
is brilliant.
it takes 2-3 days to edit stuff for me. I've been staying up late night just
That's
to
a lot of work
punch
to
everything
do
out and
all
edit it, have it up.
People
Live
just
streams
think,
are
oh,
easier
you
to
just
do.
flip it on
Thank
and
you
it's
to whoever
nothing.
that,
It's like, no, it's expensive.
Gave me the 16,
in Canada,
that's really appreciated, or the funds. It really
I
helps
hate
out.
editing, but I do
Pays for
it.
bus fare to get here.
And after 70 hours on an animation,
We're coming up on them there. A lot
I'm burnt
of
out on
have,
editing.
left
I'll
the
just
scene.
do a live stream and whatever happens, happens.
Someone was asking, there's not a lot of cranes in the sky in Ottawa. There's thousands, I'm telling you. There's hundreds. But, Yeah, the trucks are still honking. I believe at 12 they're going to stop or something. A few of them stopped me up and I spoke to them.
It actually was...
Thank you for supporting the truckers,
If you
guys.
actually
awesome.
listen to it with your eyes closed...
Well, the party started Friday evening.
With the DJ they had on site.
It started last week when
the horns matched the DJ. And it was
it's a beautiful morning. It's cold, but the best season is winter.
It was amazing because these are not designed to make music. These are tracks.
Thank you for the funds.
It's like Transformers got together for the orchestra. Like it was pretty phenomenal. The amount of.
And you could really go for a good skate early morning. I love it.
But people just wanted their lives back. And hopefully we can keep it that way.
People don't.
Hopefully we can.
Yeah, sunshine.
It's just how we go about it.
Morning. I wanted to
Getting
get here
guilt
before the crowd
tripped is because I'm not going
when
to
there's
protest.
a crowd there, it's almost
Isn't
impossible to film.
going
There's too many
to
people.
enamor me into
Several drones in the sky.
any kind of protest.
One guy
And
landed a drone right in front of me. I was like, whoa.
Have always
Are
been
you serious,
fighting for
buddy?
freedom since, since university, which was many moons ago.
The
I
city
rode
put
a
some flowers up in the way.
dinosaur. He's still here. Trusty Fluffy. But yeah, just because when you're older, you like. I went to protests when I was young. One.
Might run out of data.
And then I didn't do it again. Anytime I have gone lately, I have been going to document, not because I believe in the cause. I just want to record it. And I hate to say that in a callous way to anyone in the Victoria Freedom Movement, but
alright, here we go. Party started already this morning.
And the whole one with the trans kids, oh my god, I almost got beat up. No, I was scared, and I had people walk me like guys I didn't know.
Thank you so much.
Walk me to the bus stop just so, because I felt so uncomfortable.
I love you.
And this was my alumni, because I was saying, hey, I'm bi, but I don't agree with this. And how much you getting paid a day? Like, these kids were getting paid like big money. I don't like.
It's hard to look at the comments.
Like one chick, I was like, "What's the number?" And she just smirked, and I'm like, 200, 300. Yeah, you're a whore. Meanwhile, this is a different level of protest because a government cannot force private business owners to go to work.
I follow a guy that drives one of those trucks.
That's what this came down to, and because of the regulations over the vaccination, truckers, private business owners could not go across the border, and we still have the Charter of Rights in Canada. We still have bodily autonomy and religious freedom. So
blocked off the Supreme Court.
No, you cannot force an entire workforce.
Vehicles have been
like they're
so
little
long,
toys.
Thank you again for the.
And that's what I feel like Trudeau did to everyone.
Look at the ice just flowing out.
He wanted the basic dictatorship of China, and like that was his campaign mandate. You voted for it. I didn't. I voted for the NDP, and unfortunately, they turned out to be idiots as well. Like, Jagmeet Singh is so worried about his pension, and he's so corrupt, he destroyed the party.
I'll be right back.
And I used to be a hardcore NDP supporter, not anymore.
Phone died. It's too cold.
They blew it. Like, you...
Oh, no.
They're corrupt as the
Jesus
rest.
Mercy. I'm having issues. Big issues.
It was minus 26 during this protest. So everyone's camera equipment was freezing.
Yeah.
Like, it
Sorry.
was,
It's too cold out,
yeah.
even with Hot Pockets.
Yeah, you gotta like put a little hot pocket on your phone
And I'm
and
downtown, for
plug
some
it
reason
in
the Wi-Fi,
to a battery pack.
my data
And with
sucks
a
down here.
gimbal, like, that's even like more
Well, these guys
challenging.
are
You
still
gotta
going strong.
almost like put a little sweater on it. Like, I don't know. It's minus 26. Like, that's. And that's Celsius. That's not Fahrenheit.
This guy's got a...
I'm trying to think what it would be in
Jambon?
Fahrenheit. Or,
I can't
oh
see him,
god,
but
that's.
Jambon.
Okay, it's probably
Well,
40.
no, the people left, the trucks.
Yeah, it'd probably be minus 40
4
for
lanes are blocked with
what
vehicles.
you're watching.
And there's a lot of food.
Yeah, they were
Like,
giving
these
away
people really brought their
food,
own
and
food, I'm telling you.
they shoveled the sidewalks, and anyone homeless, like, if they needed food, no problem.
And if you look at
Even
my
if you
previous,
were the
like,
working
videos,
poor.
there's convoys
Like, if I was
still
in Ottawa
almost
then,
arriving. It's just,
I would have been
that
like,
happens out here.
can you stock me up? I cannot afford groceries. I can sometimes, but, you know, like, anything extra.
Moving them up. Thanks, Evan. I saw your message. The comments are a little too wild. I can't even read them.
And I hate to say it, but it's like we got martial law on a tailgate
hot
party.
bar on my phone so it would warm
That's
it up.
what it was. It was like, we're gonna come together in the most peaceful way possible. Let's just treat it like a tailgate party. And sorry about the horns, and you're all traumatized. But they actually were giving away headphone, like earmuffs and earplugs, but it's like, this is happening. And they had planned it out with all the authorities how this was going to happen, because Canadian citizens have the legal right to protest, even though in Victoria right now we have weird ones about Gaza, which are becoming very anti-Semitic, and I will say this because I'm streaming on X. I'm concerned. Like, this is why because, and it's wrong, and people don't realize these are, I hate to say it, radicalized kids who, you know, like, they probably, some of these protesters for the Hamas ones weren't even born when Hamas took over. And oh no, we're pro-Palestine. No, you're actually in very dangerous territory. They don't know what they're supporting. Like, this is local businesses, local companies. These are your neighbors supporting a protest like Gaza. You are supporting a conflict. Like in another country.
I'm almost down at the hill here.
So am I supposed to, like, as much as I can't support either side of it. And it's hard because I sound like a hypocrite when I'm showing this protest. You know, it's like, well, what protest is different from the other? Well, this one is about the Canadian Charter. The other one is a country's miles away that is a proxy war. Like, nobody supported this, but this is local. Meanwhile, all these, and I do say kids, because they do, when you look at the news, everyone on screen is young. Maybe they just don't film the old
Thanks for the
people,
support, guys.
but
Everyone that's
it
donated
seems like,
funds,
and also I recognize
helps
some
for
of
the
them
live
from
feed.
previous protests.
It really does.
When you can go through on camera and you're like, okay, you
That's
look
how I
like
can buy hot
this,
paws and
okay. So you
get
just
mustard
hang
down
around
here.
for the latest thing? Like, I don't know. It was cute. Like, everyone was so polite and so nice. Like, yeah, we have differences within
People are already starting to
Canada,
arrive.
but you know, we can all like try and play
Yesterday
nice.
they weren't really.
Like you look at the difference between this protest and what's going on with the Gaza protests. Like, having protesters tell a cop, "I'll put you 6 feet under." Meanwhile, here they're like,
Someone saw me holding my hot paw on my phone.
they're like, "Hey cop, if you need a coffee, it's over." You know, it's gone so the other way. And obviously, this was organized. This was planned, but a lot of people just spent their own money. Like, it's not like the thing with the Gaza protests, they are being funded overseas. These are just regular Canadians who are fed up. Can I make the difference? Like, I know I sound like a grumpy old lady, but like, if there is, I know they are so gorgeous. They're like miniatures of Europe, and you know, it's like they take the. Oh, good to see you.
We got a Ford F-150
Good to.
knocking up.
I know, I do
know.
too. They are, but they're really tiny. They like. Europe, they're so big, but here it's like miniature versions of them.
Harold. Was it Harold?
Victoria looks very much like this around the legislature and stuff. It's really beautiful in Victoria. It's very similar architecture, but oh my god, that's loud. No. Oh my god. I am screwing everything up. See, the thing is, during this, there was a DJ playing music, so the horns were actually part of the music. certain trucks with certain horn noises would be in certain positions to actually do an orchestra. I am still fascinated how they did it. It's beautiful. And yeah, they're facing like a huge lawsuit, but this chick who's pulling it, I'm like,
I love trucks, man. I'm a big kid.
I think she's a Chinese plant, and I'm not being racist. We have Chinese police stations in Canada. So if the RCMP went to Washington, D.C., and was like, hey, buddies, or Beijing, let's go the other way. RCMP goes to Beijing and is like, hey, we're just going to set up a cop shop here, no problem. They get kicked out. Canada get nuked. Meanwhile, they can come over here and, dictate what we can do as a nation. And unfortunately, we were sold out. It is China. India and China are going to fight over Canada, and Russia's just going to come in from the north like an eagle and swoop it out. Or a bear. We're done. And I hate to say it, with everything on the southern border right now, the States is in for trouble because people are focusing on the wrong things. And we are facing, this is World War III happened way before this protest, but this is a reaction to it. It's just so weird looking at all of this. After watching it live for 16 to 19 hours a day during this whole protest, it's so weird looking at it after the fact. There's just so many details I missed.
When you guys donate money like that to small-time YouTubers,
yeah, people were tossing up money just for the footage. And a lot of us hey, I would have taken on, because some of these people got super wealthy over filming stuff like this. I got nothing for restreaming it, and I'm not singling out them. I'm just saying with the larger, and it's not limited to this. It seems like anyone on YouTube is like this. Give me money, give me money. Hell, you can give me money, I'd love it. But I'm not gonna, and I'm not he did a good stream. You could tell he was genuinely shocked he's getting money for filming or doing this. But there were some others who...
The live stream disconnects. I am downtown.
They were useful idiots. I'll put it like that. It's
Holy.
You know, like Mosh or Portland Andy, like they don't even live in Canada, but they made so much money off of this. And I'm supposed to just be like, oh, you're all my buddies. Oh no, you're great people, when
If it's a little
none
wobbly,
of them
it's because I
have
gotta have a hot
ever,
paw. I gotta hold the hot paw.
you know.
This little thing. I gotta hold this. It warms up my phone so I can stay alive.
Yeah, you gotta, you actually have to warm your phone and plug it in if you want to film like this in this kind of cold. So I'm not dissing anyone who is filming then. I'm more concerned about the greater culture of, oh, they just restreamed and then all these people made so much money.
You still gotta watch where people are going.
But they weren't even in Canada.
This is the Quebec crew, I believe.
But we have to, like, just kiss their asses because we have no free speech here. And so even if some of these people, like, they don't really care about Canada, it was just a moment they could use. They are, and they are bad people. It's just sad that as Canadian citizens we have to resort to this to get free speech out. We have to, like, negotiate with the lowest common denominator sometimes. And not this channel that I am showing. This was a great channel. But some of them, like, it gets...
He finally made it. This guy has had troubles coming down this way. He's been...
It'll be the next protest, the next thing, the next...
We got people going all the way over
The
there.
next, the next, the next.
Oh, they're telling him he's gotta go. Oh, thank you for the funds. Awesome. Yes. Amazing. Thank you.
People made so much money over this. Like, if you were there filming, like, and a lot of people were just there, like, and they made,
Evan, man, 12,000.
you know, but then it runs out.
Amazing.
You know, and I also, you know, there was a question on X today to me.
Come on, guys.
You don't think people protest for free? Absolutely they do. People feel passionate about something. It is your right as a citizen to do it in a peaceful way, but also tell the government.
Ottawa, Canada. Ontario, I will be branching out.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, soon, JT, call me. Hey, bud. Libre choix. Hashtag.
Wow.
Come on, more likes. You guys did it. I saw it. We're at 7,000 now. Okay, sorry about the glare. We're going back. We're going to leave the hot mess alone. Oh.
No, you might want to watch that one. I remember this one. Oh my god.
Oh, hey. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. You're smashing that like button. You're giving me the funds.
You know, and to, like, it wasn't Ottawa PD. That, like, Ottawa PD was like, whatever, it's a protest. And, you know, as much as I don't support protests, it is people's legal rights. This one was different because you cannot, they were trying to, you cannot force people under Canadian law to take a medical procedure against their will and force them back to work as private business owners. And when you break it down like that, yeah, like, you're not being kind by forcing everyone to get the job, and you cannot shut down the border for trade. And it became a stalemate situation. We are so oppressed in Canada right now.
Going back up.
We are,
Thank you, guys.
even though this happened, we still have Trudeau.
People watching?
And
Around that, yeah.
thank God that man is just shooting himself in the foot.
You guys are awesome.
Because
Thank you for watching.
we cannot sustain his
Thank you so much
government.
for donating.
We cannot
I really
sustain,
appreciate it.
and I feel so bad for his kids.
You guys gonna make me tear
I
up,
really
man.
do. Like, oh my God, your daddy is the biggest
You guys are the
dickhead
best.
in Canadian history. Sorry. I thought
Once
my
in a
dad was
lifetime
bad,
event, man.
but he
I'm
was
telling
bad.
you. Once in a lifetime event. You never know.
It
That's
is
why
a
I'm out
once
here
in a lifetime
covering this
event
footage.
because
I don't care your opinion. You can be vaccinated. If you don't want to be vaccinated, cool, man. I'll still hang out with you.
under Canadian
You know,
law,
like, it
our
is what it
Charter
is.
of
It's
Rights
life,
and
man.
Freedoms,
We just all
you
gotta come
have the
together.
right to
That's
bodily
it.
autonomy,
No matter
and
who you are, man.
we did not have what is called informed consent. All of this was, we need to do this, we need to do this. Meanwhile, any other drug in history has had, maybe not all history. I don't want the haters to get out there, but, we have set up guidelines for medications that there needs to be informed consent. That's why you go to, one of these drugstores like Shoppers or London Drugs or your local whatever, you get a list, and all that paperwork, you just end up, but that is your legal right. We didn't get that with the jabby jab, and that is actually against our Constitution, every law we have set up in the books, and now we have people like Christina Freeland showing up at the World Economic Forum, who should be our representative, and she's wearing a Ukrainian flag on her lapel, not a Canadian one. I have a problem with that, because that's my tax dollars paid for this Nazi to go there. And maybe this actually means more to me than I realize right now, because at least I saved all this, because so much was lost. And in the early days of the protests, YouTubers were losing their footage, and we were screaming to YouTube, you gotta let us. I know there's copyrights for music left, right, and center. You gotta let us do this. And they almost didn't. And that's why I stayed up 16 hours, 19 hours, and nobody gave a fuck. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. People still don't give a fuck about me, so it doesn't matter. Sorry. All I am is like what they can get from me sometimes. I'm just too nice.
Sorry about the waviness there. Alright, phone's dying. I apologize. I'll warm up, try and charge it, get a hold of someone. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Keep on donating, keep on smashing that like. Subscribe, do it all, man.
Well, that was it for that day. Let's see what else is up. Okay. Previous post. We'll go backwards. Oh, yeah. I was working at a dry cleaner's. Yeah. That's like each of these empty hangers represents an article of clothing I steamed out. They were full when I started my shift. We'll go on. That was... Aw, I love Kevin. He is an amazing musician. God, I lost his channel. I lost his channel with my other when I lost my channel. Let's scroll down. I know I have more of clips on it. Day 2. Oh boy. Okay, that one got blocked. Like I said, oh my god. Oh, this did not age well.
People on Parliament Hill, will the government now rethink its cross-border trucking vaccine mandate? What's the response from politicians? We did ask
At least a little garden now got returned to wherever it came from.
Unavailable. But joining me now is the Federal Transport Minister, Omar El Gabra. Good to have you on the program. Minister, what is your reaction to the protest and the message that these people feel that the government's heavy-handed approach is infringing on their freedoms?
Good morning, Evan. It's good to be back on your show. Let me just say that most credible trucking organizations have distanced themselves from this protest, including the Canadian Trucking Alliance. And in fact, they've issued several statements, including another one yesterday. And as you and I are speaking, truckers are delivering for Canadians. They are almost 90% of them are fully vaccinated. They are delivering across the border and ensuring that goods Canadians need are being delivered. Second, look, I am relieved that so far the protest has been peaceful. I hope that if the protest is going to continue, that it remains peaceful. It is really important to remind everybody why we have these mandates. I share the frustration that most Canadians have towards public health measures. We all want to get out of the pandemic as quickly as possible. And this is why we have these mandates. It's not the first time that governments mandate public health measures, especially when we are in a pandemic. So these measures
but
are
I
necessary.
got to tell you, Minister, I was out there speaking to a lot of different people. A lot of them are furious at the Prime Minister for dismissing them as a, quote, fringe minority holding unacceptable views. They go back to comments that Prime Minister made during the election about people being racist. They felt that they were being dismissed, that they were being disrespected, and that's animated their anger and fueling a lot of this. What is the response? Were those statements mistakes?
Evan, I'm sure not everyone, obviously, at that protest or people who are sympathetic to that protest are racist. But some of the images and the voices that we heard come out of that protest was alarming. Canadians saw for themselves. We had swastika flags. We had the Confederate flag. We had voices that called for the overthrow of the government. Right? Canadians saw for themselves that some voices are really disturbing and unacceptable. So I understand that there are some people who are sympathetic to the protest for other reasons, but we cannot look the other way. Yesterday was the 5th anniversary for the Quebec mosque shooting. Just a few days ago, we commemorated the Holocaust Memorial. We always say, never again. It is alarming to see swastika being flown on Parliament Hill yesterday.
So Minister, what do you make of Conservatives? Michael Cooper was on the Hill, many others were, and a lot of them say this is a few bad apples here in any group of thousands of people.
Let me just be clear about that flag. The flags they are showing, there was one outside the rally, and there was one, here is the interesting one, like the swastikas and the F Trudeaus. They were actually in a restricted part of Parliament. So there were no protesters allowed in that place at the time those flags were going. And it's been turned out like there's been some shady stuff in our Canadian government recently. Like, it's wonderful what hindsight does, because we have determined that there is no possible way some of these flags were actually protesters connected to the truckers' convoy, because everything in Ottawa is barricaded at the time those flags and all those like media images, like, it's come out. It's even come out on like Canadian legacy media, but it just gets swept under the carpet. And Omar, I am so glad he is gone. Oh, he was awful. And this clip did not age well, did it? Oh, no, it didn't.
But we support the truckers,
Karma's
and we
a
support
bitch.
the trucking movement, and we support their right to hear them. Aaron O'Toole did, Pierre Poilievre did. What is your message? What do you make of their rationale? We don't support those views, but we still support the truckers.
The Conservatives need to learn lessons from the past. I was actually shocked to see some Conservative MPs, including Aaron O'Toole, flirt with some of these voices that are
like
coming
I said,
out of this protest.
this
Michael Cooper himself
clip is aging like
a couple of years ago
vinegar.
had given voice to the
Not
New Zealand
Merlot.
mosque shooter.
He read that out in the House of Commons. By the way, he's apologized for that. He's apologized for.
But he didn't learn his lesson, Evan. He just went out again and wanted to lend his voice. He should quickly and clearly distance himself and apologize once again for lending credence to some of the extreme voices that were present.
This morning, he issued 9 hours after he appeared on the bill. He issued an apology. But okay, so you don't buy that the Conservatives can separate themselves from the organizers and some of those messages from support for the truckers. Let me just ask you quickly, Minister, on the government's end. I know there was months of lead up to removing the exemption for cross-border truckers, But did the government do a bad job on this, rolling this out? Because that was the trigger that started this protest that's attracted all sorts of different voices. Could you have done a better job either extending the exemption to make sure the rollout was smoother so it didn't pop up into a protest that's taken over the nation's capital?
Evan, let's be clear, we could always do a better job. So let me start by saying that. Second, let me start by saying it is my job and the government's job to always listen and hear points of view. But let me remind your viewers, last summer, we put a mandate for all travelers across the border. We exempted truckers, but we did say that it will be coming. Also, last fall, we put a mandate on all workers of the transportation sector, including federal workers, and that was successful. Almost 100% of those who work in the air, rail, and marine sectors are fully vaccinated. And then last November, we announced, and by the way, we had an election on this. Canadians supported the mandate for
so there's no chance now, Minister, just real quick, no chance after these protests that you will reverse the mandate or extend the exemption. Is there any chance of that?
Evan, let's be very clear. The mandate is in place, but also that there's a similar mandate at the U.S. side of the border. So, it's done to protect the health and safety of Canadians. It's done to protect our economy. It's done to protect our truckers
to line your
and
pockets.
all those workers who work in our supply chains.
Okay, Minister, I got to leave it there this morning. Transport Minister Omar El-Gabra, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, he's enjoying his retirement right now. Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks for coming out, showing your support for the world. There you go. You might need a megaphone soon. Oh, you want There you go. I love that right there. And then the mud. In the fucking mud. Yeah. What's your name? Tina. Tina, are you from Kelowna? Yeah, me too. Born here? Born raised. Oh, nice. That makes sense too. If I can reach. Celebration. It's a celebration. This is a revolution, I hope. See the backside of this truck. Yeah, my name's Marcel. Tina, you're going to be on, the world's going to be watching you soon. Everybody's going to be watching me. Look at the backside of this truck. I will. When we get there. No sheet, no mandate. That's not what it says. Fuck yeah! This is the new Canadian flag. Oh, nice. We're done! No more bullshit. No more bullshit 19. Look at that back up there. There's a fuck Trudeau sign back there, of course. I fucking love it. What the best day, the best day ever. Best day you can have. Best day ever. Hope for a life. Alright. My talker. Yeah, thanks for coming out. Well, guys, it just keeps going and going and going and going, and hopefully it just keeps going and rolling. Watch out, it's contagious. Their sign said courage is contagious. Folks out for a stroll, guys. Everyone's just outside. It's so nice and warm out. Everyone's enjoying the nice day. That's why we're out here. Check it out, guys. You guys got a sled. You got some what? Where? Right here?
I remember this live. Like, I was jumping between so many streams, and I wish I saved more clips. At the time, I didn't know how big this would get. Come on, here we go. Gordon.
Okay, guys, what time is it? What time is it right now? I don't know where my other phone is. Shoot, that's in the truck. Damn it.
He is. It's such a good channel. He has several, and
all right, I'm getting ready for some latte time, guys. The buddy heater is running strong. I got my little 5-pounder tank going with the fan blowing the buddy heater over. You can imagine if you're in Ottawa right now and it's negative 20.
It got down to like negative like 26. Like probably colder.
It's actually got a wet bath, so it's a great protest mobile. You can see the wet bath, and yeah. Oh yeah, and that's me, the friendly Canadian protester. And
that is an awesome setup.
On the back, I got my Acme Moto, the 2020 XC TPI. Along with a whole bunch of freedom fighters.
But they do racing. Like, they didn't set out to be activists. They were doing just their racing channel, but this is important to people. When we have a constitution, we have rights as citizens, as taxpayers. We have the right to exercise them. Which is also why I want to address why the whole Gaza in protests are different, because I'm sorry, I don't see Canadian flags. If I saw Canadian flags, I might care. And I hate to sound cold about it, but you have to be realistic. And when I look at those protests and I can calculate how much money is being paid into the production of very professional signs. Like, the thing with this one is, like, you can tell these were not a lot of professional signs. Like, even the fuck Trudeau's, like, that became a thing after the fact, but oh god, I love a hockey stick with flags on it. It warms me. It is like, if I see a hockey stick with a flag on it, I know for a fact you are a real Canadian. And it doesn't matter your skin or color, religion, but you support Canada. And yeah, we have the Don't Tread on Me, which people, of course, that one gets misinterpreted. Because, yes, it is a very southern, and anything American is like real scary for our government up here. But it actually, the meaning behind it isn't racist. It gets constricted, it's racist, but it really isn't. If you look at the larger history. And this one, yeah, obviously in Kelowna, there's going to be a lot of Americans, especially in the summer. I kind of think Kelowna went all out.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Attention, guys. I might as well teach you a lesson along with do not comply and get yourself an AeroPress. The AeroPress is awesome. You put the coffee inside there, put it on a cup, and you take it, and you pour it, and right up, it's just one cup. That's all it takes.
Oh my god.
Do not comply and do not rely. Another really good point, a fellow knocked on the door and he said, I love the YouTube channel. I actually had a woman drive by.
That is awesome.
Such grace. Such thanks.
I love the banners.
I'm so glad you guys
The inner
enjoy
cat in me is like,
allowing me to share. I love it. I just love the camaraderie. I love the now again, it was really bad years, guys. We got some right, that's right. And along with you,
if this event in Canada didn't happen, we would still be in lockdowns. Because, Archie, I'm just speaking from BC, and this is just my opinion. I am not a journalist. I do satire and art and animations. I really didn't want to get sucked into all this shit. I mean, I love news, but really, like, what? You know, it's Canada. We were lab rats in an experiment. And if this didn't happen, we would still be in restrictions for probably now. Like, that is what Dr. Death Bonnie had planned for us, which is also why it's great that Dr. Death Bonnie's emails were forcibly made public in court, and now she's still in court. I think she might be in court for a while. I don't know. Someone might have been getting, like, she knew this would have damages. But and meanwhile, we lost in BC twice as many people to overdoses than COVID. And now we have, so the way she fixes it, and Dick's like, hey, let's just, and the federal government, and it's like, well, let's just try like this safe supply and see how it goes. So essentially, the federal government is dealing drugs to the BC government and letting us have tent cities. I think this is an awesome plan. I applaud their efforts, but I don't think this is going to really work out well in the long run. What do I say? I just pay taxes. Oh my god, I'm such a silly blonde.
This fellow mentioned we need to form a party. We need to form, everyone here should be getting together to form a party. We need the common sense party, a guy was saying earlier. We need to form a party. Anyways. Like I was saying, he means like, yeah, we have the purple party, the PPC, but we should have another freedom party, even more freedom, and the common sense party. So mull that idea around, guys. We need to get multiple parties. Fuck the Liberals and Trudeau, fuck the Conservatives and O'Toole, and certainly fuck Yagmit with his stupid NDP best buddies of Trudeau.
This was before Pierre threw his hat in the ring.
They're not in it with us.
A lot of us are like, well, common sense. Like, I've never been conservative in my life, but we'll see how this plays out. I'm more PPC. I love Mad Max and the PPC, even though they hate me. They don't hate me, they just... I annoy the local constituents. Well, no, actually, that's not true. That's a total lie. Oh my god.
That's awesome. That's a heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like... It's awkward. Like, we don't get along, but I still support the party. And the local guy, like, who ran the last time, it was like, I was like, you are basically running as an independent. You don't have a shot in hell. And I mean, and then he blocked me. I'm like, okay, like, you know, it's funny. Like, I'd actually consider running, even though I have such a weird past. I would never do well in politics. I'd rather just stick to satire and art. But at the same time, it's like I'm better at finances than Freeland is. God, that woman is awful. She really is awful. And yeah, this is loud, but it's almost like celebrating the Stanley Cup and everyone's free. Season's over. And we can't ever go back.
Get that rocket, and then the coffee drops down, and so it's been dripping through, filling up the mug, and then there's a press. You put the press, and you press it down through it.
People we got fed up. We got fed up as Canadians. You can only push us so far. And you can only push us so far, but some of these, like, we still have the Coots 4 in jail 70 plus days without charges. Like, this should be a human right, like something they would bring into the UN. Like, this is a problem. They're not doing that with the Coots 4, and it has been determined in the court of law they didn't have the guns that the RCMP were saying they had. They are holding these men indefinitely without charges. Welcome to communism. And actually, unfortunately, they can be held like this. Even though the guns they were supposed to be charged with were determined to be not on their property. They were actually like kilometers away. And they weren't even anyone associated with the protest. They just had guns. It's Alberta. You live in the backwood. You gotta have guns. They had guns. So the RCMP knew whose families had guns. And here's the kicker. On everything you saw on the news regarding them, you know, that stash of guns, it was from an article 4 years ago. It was actually an old photo, mainstream media recycled. So these men, so everyone in Canada imagines these guys had all these guns, which actually aren't a lot of guns for Alberta. Yeah, I think you want to like triple up, not double down, just because there's some big critters out there, especially with the wild pigs coming across the border, or going across the border. Like, both sides of Canada are saying, like, we got this problem with wild pigs, and it's like, well, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's like, well, yeah. But I wanted to show some of this, and I think he actually might have lost his. I think he still has his footage from this, but he lost a lot of his footage, so. And he's still in court over filming this. He wasn't an organizer, he was just there to film it. Like, and all of a sudden it's like, how can you not feel like it was like like a glass bowl like breaking, and yeah, this was like, you know, like something out of a fairy tale. Like, we were like trapped in a glass cage, and then it's like this happened and it shattered. It shattered, and a lot of people who disowned me at the time has come back and apologized, but I will always love them. I will always be polite, but I needed them then. I lost friends over this. My family thought I was crazy to a point because my family did trekking. So it's like, well, my work thought I was crazy, but also they had friends who were involved and they were actually way more involved than I ever would realize. I never asked questions. When I said this was happening, it was like, okay, you need a few extra days off? No problem. Just to try and document. And I lost so much, but it's okay. I didn't know what I was doing filming at the time, or, with all the websites. Nor did I have any interest. Like, my website wasn't political, or it was political, but it wasn't like this. It just escalated over time. Like, just how many people in Kelowna came out for this one. We did not get that response in Victoria. Oh, maybe for Gaza, for trans kids, and it's just Sorry, I need to really upgrade my website. Oh my god, it's different doing you're an outsider, and it's like, oh my god, I need to fix this. I need I need to fix. Okay. Of yeah. Oh my goodness. Second. No. No. Oh my god, this is a nightmare. There we go. Saved it. 4%. Oh god. That was one fussy little phone. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay, some residents of downtown Ottawa on the anti-pandemic measures protests have been taking place in the city since Friday. Police are out in large numbers to ensure the demonstration remains peaceful, but they are also investigating reports of threats, harassment, and desecration. Ottawa police are estimating the cost of handling the protest at about $800,000 per day. Jim Watson is the mayor of Ottawa, and he joins me now. Mr. Mayor, thanks for taking the time. I'd like to start there with that price tag, if I could, that $800,000. Have you reached out to the federal or provincial government to see if you can get some help with that?
Well, on a formal basis, we will. I spoke with the Prime Minister not too long ago, and he certainly offered his support, and we thank him for that. He's been a good friend to cities across the country. And the $800,000 is just police costs. We, of course, have city costs. You have to go in there and clean the mess up. You know, these people are treating this like a tailgate party and drinking and barbecuing and everything else on Wellington Street. So that has to be cleaned up. We have extra resources for bylaw officers, paramedics, and so on. And it shouldn't be up to the property taxpayers of Ottawa to absorb those costs. So we'll certainly look to our partners in the other orders of government.
The protesters have a GoFundMe account that's raised over $9 million, and I believe one of your councillors suggested today that maybe you should take some legal action to try to go get a piece of that money to cover some of these costs. Is that something you're considering, you think you could do?
Yeah, I actually asked our city solicitor for an opinion on that, because why should we be absorbing the cost of the mess that these characters have created? You know, it's one thing to sort of spew litter all over Wellington Street. It's another thing to urinate on the tomb of the unknown soldier and dance on the tomb and try to get free meals from a soup kitchen and desecrate Terry Fox's statue by putting anti-mask flyers and placards all over him. I think, any sympathy that this group had coming into Ottawa is quickly evaporated, because this kind of boorish behavior and harassing our city employees, harassing 18-year-old, a student working at a McDonald's, just asking the person to put on a mask, or at a hotel clerk reservation center. These kinds of things are not acceptable in a civil society, and the organizers, quite frankly, should be standing up, and they should have been standing up days ago, condemning everything from Nazi swastika flags to the Confederate flag. This is not, a Canadian value to bring that such hatred and such disrespect to sacred ground that is the war monument. That's where Corporal Cirillo was shot dead protecting the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Mr. Mayor, given that despite that long list of actions that you've just outlined, you said earlier today that protesters are not being ticketed, they're not being towed, because you're worried about the potential for violence and inciting them. I mean, what sort of a message does it send to the people of Ottawa that if they show up in sufficient numbers and act in a sufficiently threatening way, that the police just have to stand by and wait for them to leave on their own?
Well, just as we rely on our medical professionals, and that's where I get my medical advice on COVID-19, not from truckers, but from scientists and doctors, it's the same with the policing. I have to rely on the expertise of our chief of police, who has 35 years of service, including dealing with the G20, which was another high tense situation in Toronto a few years ago. And when you're going to try to put out a fire, you don't throw gasoline on it. A lot of these people came to Ottawa very angry, with a lot of hate in their heart, and they wanted a confrontation. They knew that a confrontation would generate more media coverage, and that's not what we want. We want to de-escalate the situation. That's the mandate of the chief of police: de-escalate and continue to negotiate. I know it's frustrating for people who live in the central core that the tow trucks aren't towing these cars and these trucks away and ticketing them. But I think, what I've heard from Chief Slowly on a number of occasions, it's always just a very fine line between calm and complete chaos. And we want to make sure that we continue to see the trucks leave, and we've seen in the last 12 hours a number of trucks have left. We've opened up the Sir George Etienne Cartier Parkway, and I think 3/4 of Sir John A. Macdonald is open up again. So people are starting to leave. There are going to be some diehards, but there are contingency plans for that the police will implement when appropriate.
I appreciate the need to de-escalate, and I know there are security information threat matrices that we wouldn't necessarily...
Just having martial law imposed on Canadians on a supposed democracy it should be illegal. Like yeah, there were the RCMP's role in Canada was strike breakers during building the railway. And when the federal government tries to impose the RCMP and even hires in other... And I know there was RCMP from Victoria, or not Victoria, but the island that were there. They were the strike breaker boots on the ground. But here's the difference with building the railway and trucking. Just so we're all clear, the truckers there are private citizens, private business owners, and the federal government cannot, it's against our charter to impose it, you have to go back to work. It's okay, I guess you don't have any goods getting delivered. It's we're going back to the dark ages real quick, folks. Yeah, exactly. You'll never get a government that cares for you. It'll eventually devolve into stuff like this. The fundamentals of government is the exploitation of wealth of the people under that government, which is an absolute truth statement. You may think they care for you, but they never do. No, government never does. They make it so they appear the good guys, or the necessary evil. And I hate to say that, but we're going to have a Canadian election soon. It's going to be sooner than 2025. It will be, but it's it's not going to fix things overnight, unfortunately. It is going to be a very, very long road to recovery after Sockboy pretended to be a king. It's like having like, we've all had our bad moments of drunkenness or overspending, but Trudeau has basically taken Canada to a whole new level because he just has, I am God and I am king. And he ain't. No, he ain't. Yeah, we're such a mess up here. And, you know, and maybe I'm pulling this up because if this protest didn't happen, we would still be in restrictions. Like masks are optional. A lot of people choose to wear them. People were wearing masks here before the pandemic. It's just that weird. You can't make up stupid, but it's fine. If people feel better, that's fine. But oh my god. Yeah, this was something different. And no, government is never. If the government says they are here to help you, you should lock the door and like probably check if there's zombies or something. I don't know. Aliens, odd people, I don't know. Like, just the government isn't there to help you. That's not what your taxes go to. It's just like the least exactly like that. I'm gonna draw this up again. Yes, it is like the necessary evil. Like, you're basically just paying them to organize whatever kind of mess. And some of it, like, as a Canadian, I feel very disappointed because I was promised better infrastructure. Meanwhile, I am like, our phone grid is so bad here. It is ridiculous. And then Trudeau goes and does C11 and C18. So pretty soon, free speech is like going to be like, in Canada. I'm enjoying the time I have left. I'll keep going until and I don't know. What do I do? Like, keep going, and I'm not gonna stop talking about this. But coming up, there's new laws in Canada that could affect everything on my website. Except I'm not a journalist, so it shouldn't affect me. I'm doing satire. Pretty much, yeah. Government comprises the anti productive class. We are the productive class. Leave us alone for a decade and we'll pretty much everything will be a lot better. I totally agree with that. Oh my God, that is true. It's like, dude, if we can like rebuild your deck in a weekend for a pizza and a six pack, like we can get her done. It just I think we have a lot of too many people who don't even have the skills. And people look down on, construction or, electricians or mechanics or, bakers. But there is so much physics and math required for all of these trades that, like, I would have loved to have done electronics, but I really suck at math. I'm dyslexic. Just I'm like, Star Trek, like Deanna. Like, I'm empathetic. I'm just not good. I can cook your books. I'm good at that kind of baking, but yeah, don't say that to a recruitment officer. They don't really like it. No. I thought I'd fit right in. I mean, the Canadian military
necessarily be aware of
launders
publicly,
money
but
all the
there's
time.
also a perception of fairness under the law. And if you go back to November 2020, it took a day and a half for Black and Indigenous protesters to shut down one intersection before the police went in and arrested 12 of them and cleared out the intersection. There's only been one arrest made since all of this has been going on. I mean, do you understand why people might say there's a double standard and feel like this largely white crowd?
I would say the double standard is going on now.
I can understand that, and I also understand the frustration of people who live in the neighborhood who feel
when you have
threatened and intimidated,
people
and that's
who
why
are
the chief
genuinely
announced today
concerned
that
about
redeploying their community officers into those neighborhoods. Those
no
urban neighborhoods,
trucker ever said to a cop,
try to give
I will put you 6 feet under, like one of these Gaza ones.
All hours of the night, kids can't get to sleep. The smell and stench of diesel fuel in the
but
air.
that happened
This is not acceptable.
recently.
This is a neighborhood, as you know, David.
So
Parliament
over
Hill
2
is,
years,
lots of nice,
where's
beautiful
the
government
context
buildings,
for
but there are
protests?
neighborhoods behind these buildings, and these people live there. And I'd ask some of the truckers who are taking part in this activity and being so vulgar about it
what do you
and harassing. How would you like this to take place in your hometown?
This?
No one wants to put up with this kind of nonsense.
2 years
and I think
ago.
the time has come for this group.
I don't even know how much
move on, go back and talk to your members of parliament in your own ridings, and allow our city to rebuild. Because we're like every other city. We're down for the count because of COVID-19. Today was the big day where we're going to be opening restaurants, and a number of restaurants in the downtown core, for fear of yahoos coming in with no mask and causing a scene, would be disruptive to their employees.
Like,
and the
this didn't age well.
Well, speaking of members of parliament, I wonder how you feel about the fact that conservative members of parliament are lending such loud and vocal support to these protesters. I saw Glenn Motz, who's the MP for Medicine Hat, speaking on the stage earlier today, just before lunchtime, in the middle of the blockade on Wellington, and local area
There's
MPs
a really
like
interesting
have been
story
very supportive
about
of them. I mean, what's your reaction to that level of support from the federal conservatives as the mayor of the capital city?
There is, like,
well, sadly,
somebody's making money, and it ain't you or me.
Unacceptable. Pierre represents the city of Ottawa, albeit a rural part of the city of Ottawa, but he's still an Ottawa MP. And I think it's despicable egging these people
MPs,
on, particularly when they're so disgraceful towards sacred ground, whether it's the cenotaph or a soup kitchen or the Terry Fox statue or smashing windows of city vehicles,
her husband
paramedic vehicles.
is a CEO in a mask company.
Apology from the organizers for this anti-Semitism, this racism that we've seen in the nation's capital.
Made money.
I always consider Ottawa everyone's second hometown in Canada. We welcome people here. longer.
off
But this kind of
of
boorish behavior and this kind of
disrupting our kids and
outrageous
hurting
language
them,
and intimidation should be
forcing masks
condemned
on
by
babies and
local
kids
MPs,
that didn't need them,
conservative MPs,
and then
and
telling
not
them, if
condone
you
and
don't
not get
do
up on a
this,
stage with
grandma's
Maxine
gonna
Bernier.
die.
It's
Like, oh
not
my
a good,
God,
not a good image for the Conservative
this is
Party,
so
that's for
cruel.
sure.
So, Mayor, just final question. I mean, how does this end? I mean, when do you start ticketing and towing and moving people? Because we're hearing from hotels associations that they're rebooking for next weekend. So there's an intention here. I mean, they have a memorandum of understanding that they want to stay until the government is replaced. So, I mean, when does more aggressive action or firm action start moving them out?
Well, first of all, that manifesto is so ridiculous in so many ways. Just ignore the fact that we just had an election and there's a governing party and they have the right to govern. As I said, there are contingency plans, David. We don't discuss those. We don't discuss the timing of it. But I'm interested in this situation being resolved sooner than later. I don't want this thing to go on for weeks. I want it to get wrapped up as quickly as possible. And I have confidence in the police. I ask for the patience of the people of Ottawa. They've been very patient through a very horrific episode the last 3 or 4 days, especially those that live in the Central Core. And we will get through this. We don't want it to flare up to something that would cause injury or death to anyone. And we want this to resolve peacefully and allow these people to get on their way and leave our city because you've worn out your welcome.
Okay, Mayor Watson, thanks for your time. I'm sure we'll talk again.
Gee, it actually seemed like the only
Hi, I'm Vashi
injury.
Capello's host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.
I'm sorry, but didn't it seem to be the only injury was there was a fire, and it turned out to be Antifa, like, counter-protesters. And then the cops run over an old lady, hit a few journalists. So we can... funny how that one played out. Because this was before all of this. This was like day 3. Day 3 of all of the, like, the protest. And this one's so cute. I'm gonna stunt Debbie. He's a good, streamer, and I really like his channel. Is this him or is this me? Holy fuck, that's like a 4-hour stream. Oh my God. I don't think I'll pull all of this, but I'll do a bit if it ever loads.
All right. I have my gloves on. I'm a wee bit warmer. And I found a bathroom. There was nothing super exciting to see down there in the train station. It's just a whole lot of stairs and turnstiles. Probably looks like every other subway or train station. Anyhow, I rigged around with the phone settings and I think I got it figured out to be in 60 frames right now. So if you're watching, can you let me know if it looks better? Because the only other option I see is to switch it to 4K. I think I have about 30 gigs of data left. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need or how long this is going to go on, so I'd rather not shoot in 4K. But if you guys can't see what's going on, then I will switch to 4K and figure out how to get more data. I got a plan with 40 gigs, and when I just stopped from the last stream, it said that I only used 4.2, I believe, with like 5-6 hours streaming, so that's pretty good. I don't know what 60 frames will eat up, but I'm not really worried about it. 4K, I imagine, would go through 40 gigs pretty quick. But if you can't see clearly what's going on, then we're going to have to figure it out. Alright, I don't even know what street I'm on anymore. It's trucks everywhere.
Used to be pretty easy to find. You just go towards the air horns or Parliament Hill, but yeah, I'm kind of lost right now because I was out looking for a bathroom. There's a "Don't Tread on Me" flag. That really pisses me off that the news has a problem with the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, and they're all like,
Yeah,
"Oh, they're
it's
trying to be
actually
like
not a
Americans." Like, what are
racist
you
thing.
talking about? These people might be American.
It's not a racist thing,
there's people
actually.
here from everywhere. America is really not that far from here. And anyhow, what do you like? What's the problem? Don't tread on me. Like, ooh, that's such a bad thing to say. You know,
We have like all sorts of gross flags
anything
out, so
to grab onto to make this protest look bad, and there's really nothing. Whoop-de-doo! Somebody who is probably drunk danced on a monument. Whoop-de-doo! Somebody who decided to put a Canada flag on Terry Fox statue.
yeah. Meanwhile, they put
people.
a pride flag
Yeah, they
on
got
Terry
nothing.
Fox. No problem.
Absolutely nothing to complain about.
I bet there's been a few Palestinian
it's getting to the
flags
point where this
on
convoy
Terry
is getting
Fox.
so big
No
that
problem.
it is starting to block off much more than intended. But it's also the middle of the night. Well, it's not the middle of the night. In Ottawa, it's a very government city. You know, it might as well be the middle of the night because nobody's coming down here for anything but this. So basically, right now, they're probably not interfering with anybody.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't know where I am. Oh, we're on Wellington. Holy smokes, we must be way down. These are City of Ottawa trucks. Like, what's the point? They bring out the City of Ottawa trucks to block the road. Why don't you just let the Canadian peaceful protesters come up here and block the road? Like, why block the road so that somebody else can't block the road? It makes no damn sense at all. They're really worried about that coming down here for some reason. And then again, it might be a good thing that they have that there, because I'm pretty sure that one of the first trucks that you see in front of us on the screen is the one where the trailer is completely full of food. So you never know. Maybe they have this road blocked off so that food and fuel can actually get in here. There might be a method to their madness. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter whether the City of Ottawa trucks are blocking the road or the convoys blocking the road. There are still trucks blocking the road. And I'm pretty sure that whoever works for the City of Ottawa and got paid to block this road off with their trucks didn't mind one bit at all. It's like getting paid to be part of the protest. Alright. So I haven't seen anything on chat on the screen yet. Does it look any better shooting in 60 frames? Oh, there we go. It's back. Hey, Anon! You guys want to see an awesome channel? Check out Anon 1 News. Of course, I had to screw up his name. I'm getting frozen lips out here. It is definitely not warm. But I got 2 pairs of gloves on now, and it's a lot warmer for holding the camera, and that's all that really matters. I've never seen this statue before. What is this? Somebody put socks in his hand. Oh my god, a homeless person might want those brand new socks that some Nazi-loving protester left here on this statue. That's just a terrible thing to do. Whatsoever, truly, whatever you did for one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you did for me. Okay? Yeah, that'll probably be on the news for ruining a statue. Although you can totally see that this statue has its hand out like it needs something or is trying to offer something. So I get it. I understand why they put the socks there. Wait, what have we got going on up here? Okay, we're back up here where the food is. I'm totally at the wrong street. I thought this was where the trailer of food was, but it's not. Free food. I wish I had a gimbal. If I knew this was going to happen, I would have bought a gimbal. But I don't usually walk around this much and record. What do we got here? Any Nazi flags? No, everyone but Nazis. Yes, sir. Rita, get yourself a hot dog. I probably could. I've been offered lots of food and hot chocolate and stuff, but I have money and I can leave here, so I don't really feel right taking it. You know, I could go to a restaurant and eat, so I don't really want to take food that's here and handy for the truckers.
And that is the funniest thing about his last statement is that we are like this. Like, it's like, well, I mean, you're offering me it. I'm doing a service by filming, but I feel guilty about it. So no, don't worry about it. It's for you. It's for you guys. And there was actually so much food donated after.
On the news that this is a racist protest and it's full of white supremacists with Nazi flags, but I haven't seen any. Do you feel any racism here?
If I see them, I'm going to fight them on the spot.
So am I.
I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to stick our thumbs up our ass. I don't see them.
I don't see them either.
And I know sometimes, like,
I'm going to fucking get it. Equal rights, equal fights.
That's right. What do you got here?
Hey, you know where the Nazi flag is?
I haven't seen one.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I know.
I didn't see any Confederate flag up in there every day.
I know. Same with me.
Oh my god, I want a screenshot of that. I'm gonna have to replay this one just so I can get a screenshot of that.
Do not be the Fourth Reich. There was anti-Nazis.
Well, we kind of blew that in the House of Commons recently, didn't we? Didn't like, I'm sorry, if someone fought against the Russians in World War II for the SS, I don't think we should be saluting them as Canadians, but, you know, I'm not Christina Freeland.
Putting the LGBTQ flag. Yeah, go look up
Thank God, because
long before this happened, Jack Layton put a rainbow flag in Terry Fox's hand.
It's so bad.
All over the statue, and they had no problem with that.
Oh God, are you gonna? I might actually have to cut this soon. It's not because it is late, but my cell phone is heating up enough that I can make popcorn off of it. Like, oh my God. It's actually like, ooh, that's like so nice. But I don't think it's like really good when your cell phone heats up like this. It's, yeah, it's kind of a bad thing when it does this.
That's right. Love you, brother. Thanks for being here. All right. You guys just heard it from another colored person. There is no racism felt to them.
I'll open up the panel. Here, I'll invite people. I still got time before work. What are your feelings on the truckers protest?
Masculine male.
Were you supportive? Did you just win auto and want to, like,
or anything for myself. But
be a
it's always
victim.
better
I
to
don't
have
know.
an outside
But
opinion.
here is the link to my
So
panel,
far, every
and
outside opinion, whether that comes from a colored person or a police officer, there has been no
there
hints
we
of
go.
racism down here at all.
And I'll just post it so you can see it
Like the last guy.
on X.
Unity and love. Wow, this
Even
cop's
though
flying through
it's
this. Dude, you better slow down.
sort
You're
of.
gonna kill someone, man. What are you doing?
I
Look at this
thought I
guy.
saw a chat the other day, but I
What
think
a
it
moron.
might have been the Rumble. This
Well,
is
let's go see
crazy
what's going on
to
down there.
go through live.
That
It,
I do not agree with. That is totally unnecessary.
and if you have
Cut the whole
opinions
road.
on
Do you not know how to do a
the
three-point turn?
Checkers
Let's go
protest,
see what he's racing towards.
since we're in the
I guess that
2-year
wasn't,
anniversary, I'd love to
you may
hear
not
it.
be able to tell on camera
This is my old
how bad that
blogs.
looked,
These
but
are
that was
old
pretty
clips.
dangerous.
I'm
He was flying
actually
up the
amazed
street
when
towards, like,
some of
a
them
street
are
full of
still
crowded
around,
people. I don't know. Didn't look very safe.
because
So let's see what the rush was.
it kind of gets weird in Canada.
Guys, I'm sorry I keep forgetting to read the chat to see if the video is any better at 60 frames a second. I'm watching right now. Three-point turns frickin' rule. Yes? Wow. You know what? Cops drive all the time. I'm a plow operator. I've got tons of experience with the snowplow, and I could do a three-point turn in the middle of this street, no problem. And I would before, racing towards a crowd, which the speed he was going, he had no idea who was up there. Let's put it this way: if I took my van and did what he did around a group of cops, they'd be pissed. Oh, here's what he was racing towards. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. OPP. OPP and RCMP are a little bit different than Ottawa police. Not that they're bad, just that I find they have a different attitude. I think probably because they're even more powerful than the local Ottawa police. I'm not exactly sure. I just know that for myself, I've never had a problem with the Ottawa police, but I have had a few questionable incidents with like RCMP or Ministry of Transportation. It can be a bit hard to deal with. Although, yeah, when I was dealing with them, I was doing really stupid things like towing a 3-ton combine on a U-Haul trailer to take it to the scrapyard. You know, when you do stupid things, don't be surprised if you get attention from cops. Anyhow, I don't hate them or anything, but the way that guy was driving like that, it doesn't surprise me at all that he's OPP. My uncle used to be OPP, and my other uncle used to be an OPP dispatcher, and my dad used to be a biker. Not like a scary biker that blows up buildings or anything like that, but yeah, an old school biker. He got into a few freedom rides with his Harley Davidson, with OPP chasing him and his brother doing dispatch for the whole thing. Alright, I have no idea where I am. This looks like another subway station. Big Red O. Big Red O! I've never seen the Big Red O in Ottawa before. What's that sound? What's going on? Oh, they're blocking off another road. They're blocking off another road with a grader. Woo! Trudeau, the little princeling. Can you imagine how stupid that guy feels right now? Can you just imagine having a whole country coming together with fuck Trudeau flags and like, I don't know. I don't know. If I was him, this would not feel very good to have the capital of the country I'm running exploding with hatred against you. Loving hatred, but still hatred against you. It's weird. It's like they all hate him, but it's such a loving atmosphere. It's kind of hard to explain. Alright, as much as those air horns suck for the headphone users, that's where all the action is at. So we're going to head back up there. I can barely hear the air horns right now. It might be a little bit different for you because you're listening through a microphone. But in real life, this far away, I could easily sleep and not notice them. So pay attention to where we are right now and how long it takes me to actually get to the air horns because we're not that far. Which means that they really can't be disrupting too many people because as you can see, nobody lives around here. It's all businesses. Tweeting from his hiding hole. That's right. That's absolutely right. How embarrassing. How embarrassing for him. He has to realize this is not stopping. This is not stopping at all. You know, the only way this is going to stop is if he gives them what they want, or at least comes out to negotiate. We're coming out to do a stupid press conference saying that he's not going to bend at all. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. Alright, I know where I am now. This is Spark Street Mall. Weird. They have interlocked roads that you can't drive on anymore. You got poles up there. I don't know if that's because of like terrorism concerns or if they just don't want to ruin the fancy interlock they put down in the roadway. Kind of stupid though. This whole downtown area is full of like jam-packed streets with one-ways and stuff, and the last thing you want to do is block off the street down here. Actually, this building right here, it sucks because I do a lot of government surplus and they have things that go really cheap here because nobody wants to come down here with a moving truck to pick them up during the week, including me. Just looking at it makes me be like, yep, don't want to try and figure that out. This is normally a very, very busy street during the day right here. A lot of people come from like the Parliament buildings, and there's a lot of lawyers' offices and stuff around here. They come down here to eat and have lunch. There's some flags. Oops, I'm covering the camera. They're Nazi flags. If there's one thing I'm learning from this protest, it's that I really need to learn my flags because there's a lot of them here that I've never seen before. Anyhow, yeah, you can see we're at the convoy already, and like less than a 5-minute walk away, I couldn't hear the air horns at all. So for them to say that this is disrupting so many people, it's impossible. You guys can hear it for yourself. You're listening through a microphone and probably headphones, which means it should have been really loud for you when I was down there. This is a very odd building. What is going on there? I'm not sure if that's just framing and they're going to sheet it in that weird shape or that's the way it's staying. Like, what is that? Noah's Ark? going on? $5.1 in the living room. Right on. Good to have you. There's a truck I haven't seen before. I would have definitely recognized it. I think they're done with the copyright music down here now. So we'll go have a peek at Terry Fox and make sure everything's still good with him. Nobody's put any brand new socks for homeless people who might need them or anything. No Canada flags on this proud Canadian. No, the truckers cleaned everything off, including the snow, and he's got very respectful flowers. What are you going to say now, mainstream news? What a joke. Trucks just took over Kent Street. Yeah, Kent Street is absolutely packed. They were playing drums down there in the middle of the intersection. I'll go back down there if I can remember how to get there. Let's see what's going on now. What does A41 mean? A41, what does that mean? Just a peak number. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. So we're not getting lost. Are you guys leaving? You don't think there's any chance that they're going to try and tow this tonight? Don't know. Right on.
I'm gonna pull this up more
Yeah, I know.
tomorrow.
We're putting you in a bad spot, eh?
It just
You too.
it's late here. It's like almost 4 a.m.
It doesn't
and
seem like
I'm
he's
real
not thrilled to
tired.
get the order to start towing people
Finally,
out.
even though all I did is sleep all weekend. But
You got to understand that they do have a job to do.
I'll pull
Kind of
more.
messed
I'll
up
pull
that they're
this
in
up again. Just because, like, some of this footage, like, even though I watched it live, it's so much different watching it after the fact and after so much more information about how illegal it was for the government to impose martial law on Canadians.
Follow the air horns.
And all the corruptions, like ArriveCan. Even our current trip to Jamaica.
Dodge Caravan cop cars. That's wild. Is that a caravan?
They got that from the impound lot, didn't? Oh my god.
Good luck, bud. I'm putting you right off the road. Oh, if I had to.
No, thank you for coming. I'm gonna continue this.
You got hurt.
I'll do a part 2 of this and maybe even a part 3. Depends
right
how
now
much
we are at
footage I have.
Metcalf Street.
And thank you for joining me.
Metcalf.
Let's just pause that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. It was crazy to go through. And even though I wasn't in Ottawa, I think the ripples it caused, especially like I lost friends, family, like hated me because I supported this, and then after the fact, it's like, oh, and then people who I thought were friends in the movement really didn't turn out to be. And I think that's just the way any kind of movement goes. It's like, if it's one thing I've learned from sociology, psychology, political science. It's people will organize themselves in certain ways and don't take it personally. So thank you for joining me. Yeah, I want to unpack this more. It's just I'm almost sort of like having a PTSD moment. Like, where do I even start with this? Love you. I'm gonna sleep well at least. I think I wore myself out.